Welcome back to another great episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Today we are making instant Rus Malaai. We're going to use ricotta cheese in this. So before we start discussing all the ingredients, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have subscribed, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please go ahead and share my videos so we can share the love of cooking with everybody else. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you see the bell over there, hit it so that you get a notification every time a new video is uploaded. All my recipes are in the description box below. Let's go ahead, discuss all the ingredients. So here I have two parts of the recipe. We're gonna have the milk-based part of the recipe, and then we're gonna have the dumplings or the Rus Malaai part of the recipe. Okay, so first I'll show you what the liquid part of the recipe is going to be. So for the measurements, always remember full measurements are always in the description box below. Now here I have 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and now in England it's full fat. I think it's thick cream. I think that's what they call it, but here in America it's full fat whipping cream. It's very heavy whipping cream. Then here I have 32 ounces of half and half, which is thicker than whole milk but lighter than whipping cream. That makes any sense. Then we're going to do some pistachios, and that's just between about 2 to 3 tablespoons. If you like more, add more. We're going to do some cardamom powder, about a half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder, depending on how much you like in there. Now this recipe, because I'm going to be eating this the most, I'm going to be adding the erythritol in here. And that is, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons first, and then if I need to add more, I'll add depending on the taste. But if you can always go ahead and sweeten that with sugar. You know, start off with 3 tablespoons and then add more if you want to sweeten it more. All right, so that's going to be our recipe for the base. Now for the dumpling type of thing, or the Rus Malaai itself, I have here 16 ounces of ricotta cheese. Make sure you get ricotta cheese and not cottage cheese, okay? There's a big difference in it. With cottage cheese, it's not gonna work. This is ricotta cheese. We're gonna do 3 tablespoons of erythritol. You can use 3 tablespoons of sugar. We're also going to do a little bit of cardamom powder. We'll also be adding a pinch of salt in there. Now, in the original recipe, I had used a 9x6 tray. So I want to use this silicone mold. I want to see how these come out so that we can see in the end how they turned out, or if they didn't turn out, okay? We're also going to be doing a bain-marie in here, which is we're going to be putting some hot water in here. We're going to be throwing this in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in there comes out clean. I'm also going to be using some ghee to oil our bottom of the pan. All right, so in goes our whipping cream. See how thick that is? Okay. Then we're gonna add, our half and half in here. Now we're gonna put this on the stove on medium low because we have 45 minutes, while the Rus Malaai is inside cooking in the oven. We have 45 minutes, so I'm gonna let this go on slowly, but also make sure you come back and stir it now and then so it doesn't scorch on the bottom. What we want is a little bit thick consistency. So now we have like a little bit of a thick mixture, but you want to put this on the stove so it thickens more, and I'll show you the consistency in the end. I also forgot to mention that I have some pistachio pieces here that we will use for garnishing. All right, so in here, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to add our cardamom powder in here. Oh, it's already smells so good. All right, I'm going to add my pistachios. Now these are semi-crushed pistachios, so you can get some pieces in your mouth as well. Next, we are going to put in our erythritol. Now, if you want this same erythritol that I'm using, I will put a link of that on the bottom in the description box below. I have kind of researched about the sugar-free sugars, and this one is one of the best ones because if you look at it, so can they see? If you look at it, it is gluten-free, it's non-GMO, which is super important, and it is a sugar alternative, and it's also gluten-free. So I'll put the link of that on the bottom in the description box below. I use that a lot, and for me, it's just a lifesaver. So you can take a look at that, give it a taste test before you put it on the stove. So while we have our milk mixture on the stove, this is our ricotta cheese mixture. And what I'm going to do now is add the cardamom powder in here. I love the taste of cardamom and sweet dishes. They just kind of pair so well. Now I'm going to do just a pinch of salt. And then we're going to add our erythritol in here. Now again, if you want, you can use sugar in here. I'm just doing this so that I can enjoy this dessert. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix this, and you also want to give this a taste test and make sure that the sweetness is according to your palate. Okay, give this a good mix. Now let's go ahead and put it in our trays. So I've taken a little ice cream scoop, and I have a couple of different sizes of them. So I just took the medium one here and I just put it in. Now I'm just gonna tap it so that I've got an even mixture in all of them. Now these are not gonna be in a bain-marie. I just want to kind of see how they cook up with and without the bain-marie, okay? So these are, I'm just gonna cover them lightly and put them in the oven. Again, if you're doing something like this, make sure that these are gonna get cooked very quickly because they're in small, it's a smaller quantity. So make sure you keep an eye on these, okay? So now let's go ahead and put some mixture in our bigger tray. I am going to go ahead, and this water is really hot. Just want to make sure that when you put it in, you're careful that none of the water is going to go into the pan itself. So just add enough, maybe I would say about half. Now you can also just open your oven door and stick this in the oven and then put the water in so you don't burn yourself if you want to do it that way. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take some foil, and I am going to cover this. So these came out after 45 minutes, and you can see if I put a toothpick in there, it's completely comes out clean. This one at 45 minutes, if you put a toothpick in there, it comes out completely wet, and it's, if you move it, it's still moving around. So this one still goes back in. I'm going to put it for another 20 minutes. We'll see what happens after 20 minutes. So look at this mixture. This is really nice and thick. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and shut the stove off because as this cools down, it's going to get really nice and thick. So basically, this is a rubbery. It's called a rubbery. But I did decide to add saffron in there. I don't know what it is about saffron, but it just, I love the color of it. I love the taste of it. And adding it at this time is going to be perfect because the heat is going to give us that nice, beautiful yellow color that I'm looking for. So I'm going to let this go for just about 2 minutes until the saffron starts releasing the color, and then I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. All right, so what we're going to do is, because this is cooled completely, I'm going to get them out and I'm going to start putting them onto the plate that I am going to serve it on in. Do you see that? I'm just going to take that, put it right on top just like that. And now it's up to you how much milk mixture you want in there. I absolutely love the milk mixture, so I'm going to do it this way. And then I am going to take some pistachios. Sprinkle that on top. I'm also going to take some saffron and add just a little bit on top. Look at this. Just tell me, look at this. This is instant Rus Malaai, and it looks absolutely delicious. It smells absolutely delicious. Now we just gotta wait and see until I can dig into it. All right, so this came out of the oven. I did put a toothpick in it and it came out clean. So at this point now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just making some pieces. Now you can decide how big, how small you want this. This is completely up to you. Okay, so now here is the milk mixture that we made. So if you're doing the individual, you're just gonna pour some on top just like that. And then the other ones here, we're just gonna take this and just put that on top just like that. Just like that. I'm so excited because this is something that I will be able to eat and not have to feel guilty about. Yes, I'm sure you guys are thinking fat, fat, fat. But for me, losing all this weight has not been about how much fat I consume. And I don't consume a lot of fat. This is once in a while. But it's the sugar and the carbs that I have cut down on. All right, so you can see here that we've got all different types, however you want to make it. Here we go. We're going to put that on top. Rest goes on top, and now I can do a taste test. I'm gonna cut into one so you guys can actually see how it looks. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Got my spoon here. Let's go ahead and cut into this one. Okay. Look at that. Do you see that? Can you see that? All right. I'm gonna take a big spoon because this is something that I can have. This is absolutely delicious. It's velvety soft in my mouth. It's no guilt. Oh my gosh. So good, so good. So thank you so much for Cuisines for this recipe. It's absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Hope you can join me here next time with another great video. See you then, friends.